if you have a chainsaw that's cutting crooked, making it difficult to either just cut firewood, or when you're milling, having it jam up, most likely the problem is the bar, not the chain. The chain can be the problem, but I've found 90% of the time my problem is always the bar. And what happens is the bar has two rails on it. The chain goes in the slot, and these rails wear unevenly, so one becomes taller than the other, so the chain actually sits crooked on top. Instead of cutting straight, it always wants to go to one side because the tracks have been worn down. So how you can tell if your bar needs to be filed down and dressed is stand it on a flat surface. So you can see this is a solid aluminum plate. So if my bar is perfectly level and even, if both rails are flush, the bar will stand up on its edge like this one is. So you can see it's just standing here all by itself. And if I get it just right, it stands there. So the rails on this one are quite good. Then I take the one that I've been using this winter, and I've been milling with this, and I try and stand it on the same plate. There is no way. It's considerably leaning. There is no way that this bar will stand on its own. And what I do is I take my square, and when I stand the bar, I can feel where it's flat and wants to stand. If I put the square against it, you can see just how much the level is out. It should be more like this, so that both sides are square. So it wants to sit there and it won't stand up on its own. So we're gonna clean this up, and I'll show you the method I use. I basically put the bar in a vise, clamp it in good, and make sure you're not clamping at the tip because you'll damage the sprocket and the bearing, or too close to the edge where you could compress it. So I basically clamp it right in the middle. And from here, I take an axe file. Around here anyway, they're sold as axe files. It's about an inch wide file, fairly fine. And you can do it by hand and do quite a good job. If you want it perfect, I take my square and I lay the file across the square like this, so that I'm cutting, and I put this right up tight against the bar. And that way I'm cutting perfectly straight edge again in the guides. So I basically hold it like this. So now my file is sitting perfectly square and perpendicular to it. And I just rake it like this, and you can feel it cutting off the steel. And as you do it, you can see the one that's longer because it starts to get shinier quicker. And basically you do that until the bar will stand up on its own. Works very good. What I find also is, and most people probably do this, every time I take the bar off to change chains or inspect it, I take a tiny drill bit and I run it down, and I get all the, as you can see, all the oily sawdust coming out of the slot. That's kind of preventing oil flow through the bar. It gets oiled up, but it doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. So basically, every time you pull the bar off, make sure you clean that out. And of course, the tiny holes on each side and the slot to them, because that is where your oil feeds that chain slot. That little hole and this one, and you can see both pure plugged now. So the oil has to force that out of the way to get into the track. I do a lot of milling, and the milling really does a number on your bar in a hurry. So if you do that and you level the bar, the chain will sit level and you'll cut straight as an arrow, and the cutting is night and day. I've replaced a number of bars over the years, and I would say, because I'm milling, probably twice a year I have to dress the bar and level those slots, because it will start to cut curved. Even cutting firewood, that happens frequently, usually because of poor oiling when you're just cutting firewood, but over time it will wear one down more than the other. It's just natural. Anyway, hope that helps. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe.